Sound speeds. And if you think I'm about to badmouth Unbox Therapy, then you're very much mistaken. They did nothing wrong. However, this thumbnail is still 100% accurate and 0% clickbait. But how is that possible? Well, join me on an adventure and I'll explain. In March of 2020, I was one of the many tens of thousands of film industry workers that was out of work. Considered non-essential at the time, it was only a few months later that they realized exactly how essential we were when they ran out of content. But I did what many people did back in March of 2020 and spent way too much time on the internet. And then I started seeing some kind of interesting ads. I was browsing the ultimate source for facts online, Facebook, and came across this ad. A 1,000-watt two-way powered speaker system consisting of 2 speakers with stands, at least 1 power cable for those speakers, at least 1 speak-on cable, and 1 microphone cable with a microphone and a remote control, all for the low price of $19.99. Of course, I trust Facebook, so I clicked on the link. After all, what could possibly go wrong? They do such a good job vetting their third-party fact checks, so I'm sure that they apply the same due diligence when it comes down to vetting their sponsored ads. And just look at this website, fugar.store. Doesn't this just scream professionalism and trustworthiness? I'm sure I'm getting the steal of the century. Just look at all the stuff I get for just $20. I know you're jealous. You're going to have to get over that, though, because I'm the one that gets the steal of the century here. Look at these 12-inch woofers with 1,000-watt peaks in a 60-pound bag, all coming to me with a 100% money-back guarantee if I'm not completely satisfied. What could possibly go wrong? Sadly, when I went to the payment screen, no payment options would actually go through, and I did try for a couple of days after, until the website went down unexpectedly. But I was completely trustworthy of the website. I mean, after all, this was a Facebook-sponsored ad, so it's, of course, backed by Facebook. They have my back, right? So, of course, I did what every logical and reasonable person should do, go back to Facebook looking for another steal of a deal that was going to be the next greatest thing. And boy, did I find it. Positioned strategically between Facebook doctors' posts was this ad in various different forms over and over again. It looks like very well-made videos, not unlike those that you would find on YouTube amongst your favorite content creators. And then I saw someone that I recognized. That's Lou from Unboxing Therapy, and he seemed to be having a blast with this thing. So what could possibly go wrong? There it is, the trustworthy face of Unbox Therapy in an ad on Facebook, the absolute authority for facts on the internet. So of course I clicked on the link. Just look at this professional website. funpinpin.store/eToplight takes you to the eToplight store. Professional websites don't have to have a top-level domain. They can have a subdomain that's just as equally professional. Just look at these pictures. None of it looks shrunk down or like models or anything. This looks exactly like I would expect it to if it were standing up in my living room. And as we scroll down, we see even more signs of professionalism, like this part right here that says, our products have been sterilized. Well, of course, during the coronavirus shutdown of 2020, you expect it to be sterilized and completely COVID-free. You just gotta trust the website when it says 96.9% of customers buy 3 or more. They would know, right? This is obviously the best speaker in the world because it says so on the screen. This thing is packed with over 100 patented technologies, including Super of Pure Power, which I'm sure makes it sound just like the most premium seats at the best movie theater in town. This is a high-performance analog digital hybrid technology speaker capable of reaching 4,500 peak watts at a decibel level of 108 decibels and a frequency response of 14 hertz all the way up to 27,000 hertz. Geez, this thing is awesome. Just look at these specs. It's over my head because it's so awesome, and believe me, it takes a lot for me to admit that. And how could I not feel confident about buying this thing? It's got a 100% customer service satisfaction guarantee, it's got a 30-day money-back guarantee, and it has a risk-free ironclad 90-day guarantee. Take my money. And when you look at the real Unbox Therapy video, of course your brain tells you this is the exact same thing. They wouldn't possibly scam you with all of this stuff, especially at the price point of $50. I mean, $50 is a lot of money, right? So I bought it using PayPal. PayPal is, after all, an American company. What could possibly go wrong with trusting an American company? They're going to have our backs. So go ahead, be jealous of me. I know I got a good deal. And if there happens to be a problem for any reason, look at this, easy returns. So I'm sure it's just like Amazon. You just go around the corner, throw it at somebody, and they'll give you your money back. Easy peasy. After 3 weeks, it hadn't arrived, so I sent him the tracking number and said, hey, what's the status? And a customer service rep named Laura Middlebrooks replied just over a week later saying, you got the wrong tracking number. Here is your correct tracking number. And it takes 3 to 5 days for our professional website to get us your address, and then it takes another 15 to 20 working days for us to get it to you. So just be patient. And 71 days after the package was shipped, it arrived. Huh? So I emailed my customer service rep, Laura Middlebrooks, but the email bounced back. Luckily, their website had an updated email address for their new customer service rep, so I emailed that one saying, hey, this is wrong. I took some pictures of the mangled up box, pointing out little things like the 4,495 watt shortfall on this 5 watt speaker and the limited frequency range, which is nowhere near advertised. I took multiple pictures and screenshots so I could document this when I emailed customer service. After all, I'm sure it was just a simple misunderstanding, and I still got a couple more days before this 90-day guarantee expires. It was pretty clear that they weren't going to reply back, so before day 90, I emailed PayPal and I made my case on how I was scammed. I made sure I included pictures, and I pointed out all the differences in the information that they provided versus what their website said and my findings. The message was sent to whoever in the world that person is. And a week later, they still hadn't replied, so PayPal escalated this into a claim and then gave them more time. But while investigating my case, PayPal did recommend a $15 partial refund to resolve my complaint. As you can imagine, I replied in a very subtle way that I would not be taking them up on their offer. 2+ weeks later, I received an email telling me that I had a new message to read, and the message read that all I had to do was ship this package back to China and they would issue me a full refund. From there, PayPal offered me zero support, no chat support, no phone support, no email support, no nothing. Just this form that told me to enter a tracking number and tell how I was shipping back to them. And they followed it up with an email that said that if I didn't supply all this information, then I would not be getting back anything. As for easy returns, sure, it's easy for them. It's on me to have to package it up and take it to the post office and then ship it back at my own cost. In fairness, PayPal did offer to pick up a part of the return shipping cost, but I didn't want to ship this thing off into the oblivion just to see if it was going to arrive or not on a 3 out of 5 star system that was going to cost just under $35. The next cheapest shipping price back was just shy of what I actually paid for this speaker, and there's still no guarantee that the thing would arrive. But who knows, the Chinese company that I bought it from might have been banking on the fact that it could get lost in shipping, and if that was the case, take it up at the post office for a full refund, and they wouldn't have to pay anything. Maybe. I'm just speculating here. So, need I say it, I did not ship the item back and PayPal denied my claim. And by this time, if you copied and pasted the link to the speaker into your browser, it would give you a 404 error. The eToplight store still offered things for sale, but if you copied funpinpin.store and you pasted it into the search bar at scamadvisor.com, then wait a minute, holy crap, are you telling me this was a scamming website with 0% trustworthiness? I don't believe it. But even Google says that scamadvisor.com may not be a legit website in itself, so why don't we check it on yet another website? So I tried running a few searches like any reasonable consumer would do if they had suspected they'd been scammed, and nothing really stood out. As a matter of fact, there was really nothing negative at all. But if you run a search for the telltale signs of a fraudulent website, then you're going to find quite a few things that was on the eToplight website. But these scamming websites are getting clever, like with their security indicators. This website is an HTTPS and nothing in the browser seems to indicate that it's a scam. So I stepped away from this video for about a week to work on my 32-bit floating point video, and guess what happened? Oh, you're gonna love this one. The domain registration for funfunpin.store completely vanished. So the scamming company in China does indeed have my money, or at least they did. And PayPal did completely back them 100%. However, technically I can't really hold PayPal accountable because I didn't return the product to be issued a refund. I didn't trust the process. However, this is what I would say. PayPal, I strongly advise that if you're going to do dealings with certain companies, especially those international, if they post very publicly 100% money back guarantee, ironclad 90-day refund, things like that, then you really ought to be able to, on a case-by-case basis, issue refunds and back people so that way they're not scammed when they are using your service. I do want to point out that not all Chinese companies are trying to scam you. Chinese companies do make very premium products and good components that are used to be part of premium products manufactured in first world countries. But I do want to point out one more thing. You got to constantly be aware of the updated scams that are coming out of China. I made this video, Beware OEM, a few years ago, and guess what happened? Within a week, everything changed. It's still a good video to watch though. You got to be really careful with scams online. Scams are all over the place. The rule typically is, if the deal seems too good to be true, chances are it probably is. Even to this day, the Sennheiser MKH416, the Shure Beta 58A, and the SM58 are still amongst the most bootlegged microphones that you're going to find on websites like eBay. Usually, as a general rule, what you look for is these products will actually retain their value pretty well. Most of the time, you're not going to find a 416 that sells new for $1,000 for less than about $900 if it's been well maintained. Or you got to be very careful because someone may be trying to offload it real quickly. but it also very well could be a scam. But here's another scamming ad from Facebook. In December of 2001, Walt Disney announced that they would never again sell or distribute Song of the South in any way. It was withheld worldwide and never again has been on the shelf or available. Yet we're expected to believe that this sponsored ad on Facebook is going to sell Song of the South to you. But if you look down at the bottom, WIINshop.com. What is this, Wii? Like Nintendo Wii? What is this shop? This is definitely not the Walt Disney Store. And people looking to make a quick buck from side hustles online are probably going to run into these kind of ads all over the place. Training AI by sharing with them pictures of your same-sex marriage certificate. And websites like clickworker.com are offering you work where you can take a picture of your social security card and send it to them. Oh, but don't worry, before they send it off to their client, they're going to make sure it's purely anonymous. They would absolutely not want to try to scam you with that either. Again, the rule is, if a deal seems too good to be true, it probably is. And I strongly recommend buying from reputable websites, especially those that you can get someone on the phone when you call them. Now, websites like eBay can offer products sold by anybody, so definitely be careful when you go to those kinds of websites. If it's not a company that you know, then definitely want to do your research before you buy, especially if you buy through something like PayPal, because even though it's an American company, they can still be manipulated by scammers and you can be scammed. I will leave you with this thought though. If you're looking for a fairly reasonable looking miniature for a marionette puppet show, then you might consider looking online for a full-size item that you would expect to put in your house. Because if you look for something like, for example, an 18 to 24 inch tall air conditioning unit, you're probably going to be sent something like this. And if you look at the website for the air conditioning unit, it looks just like the one for the speaker, right? It looks like it was even using the same template and graphics. And if you scroll down, it offers the same words, the same everything, and the same guarantees as was the speaker. But unlike the speaker, before I even received this item, the website no longer worked. I kid you not, this thing was sold as a high-power air conditioning unit online. Little fan in the back with an opening in the top that you're supposed to add a little bit of water that's going to seep down through that top into that little black thing in there that somehow is supposed to refrigerate the air. And then it's supposed to blow out with a high capacity to keep you cool. But I'll tell you, it barely has enough power to push back a Kleenex. Look at this thing. Come on, push it back. You know you can. There you go. Push it a little bit. This thing is complete crap. Oh, but not to worry. I'm definitely going to be getting some use out of this thing. After all, I'm going to be doing another Yule log again this year. Or if we want to have a lot of fun, we'll just auction them off as a charity fundraising item. But regardless, thanks for tuning in to this episode of Soundspeech. Be sure to tune in the future for more wonderful information on scams and whatever else I happen to bring you. And of course, as always, sound advice. Have a question you'd like answered or want to add something? Be sure to write it in the comment section down below. You can also make a suggestion for future topics of discussion. Again, comment section down below, or you can email me at soundspeeds@yahoo.com. Be sure to subscribe and turn on notifications so you won't miss out on future sound advice.